Children, let's try to know about the properties of things around us and possibility of getting them classified based on their properties. I have nails here. Nail. I have two nails. What are nails made of? Nails are made of iron. Iron. In case we leave these nails in water, they get rusted, you know it. Nails don't last long because they get rusted when there is moisture content in the air. When a nail comes in contact with water, it gets rusted. This lesson will have a lot of experiments now. What you do at home, take 2 or 3 nails and in a plate keep some water, a little water, and place 1 or 2 nails there. 1 or 2 nails and just watch over days. 2 days, 3 days, 5 days. What happens to the nails? The nails get rusted. You know it, but do the experiment, find out what happens. We say the nails have got rusted. So nails which we have driven into the walls, they undergo rusting in case they come in contact with water. That's why your parents may tell you spades or shovels or an iron hammer, iron tools that are used for agriculture, they don't leave them outside in rain. They use, then they clean them and keep them inside and allow them to get devoid of water. What should go away? You may not need those tools for another 3 days or 4 days. See that no water has got collected on those iron objects because iron gets rusted. Here I have a steel plate. Steel plate is nothing but again iron. Iron and carbon has been added to it to see that it doesn't undergo rust. It is hard. Nails are hard. That's why you drive them into the wall. You hammer and drive. This plate is hard. Hard. I have the hammer here. It has a wooden handle, isn't it? Wooden handle. This part is hard. You cannot bend it. Even if you go on hammering something, this won't undergo that much of change. So the head of the hammer is made of iron. Here I have a vessel. This vessel is made of aluminium. It's an aluminium vessel. This is also hard, very hard. Here I have aluminium foil which has been pressed into the shape of a box or shape of an utensil. I have one more tin foil here. This is tin foil. This is aluminium foil, very thin aluminium foil. When you get food packed in hotels, they pack them using tin foil or aluminium foil. It depends. Now see, in all these cases, here I have copper. Copper is also hard. This is also hard. It is hard. No doubt it is very thin, but it is hard. If it had not been hard, we would not have used it for packing food. See, all these objects which I showed you now, copper, iron, aluminum foil or tin foil, or sometimes you call it a silver foil. There is no silver in it, it is aluminum foil, but the word is there, the word is used. This is aluminum again. Here you have brass or bronze, bells are made of brass or bronze. This is also equally hard. You have a aluminum wire here, this is also quite hard. Now all these objects that I showed you, they come under the group metals. They are all metals. Iron is a metal, aluminum is a metal, copper is a metal, right? These are all called as metals. Metals are hard. Metals are lustrous. See, metal has its own shining. It has a shining. If you wash it well and clean it using tamarind or something, this will be lustrous. Lustrous means it has a beautiful shine. See this steel plate, steel plate. The actual material used here is iron and maybe a little copper is added. Now this shines, this has a shining. Even this aluminum vessel may not shine as much as the steel plate, but it has a shining. It has shining. This has shining. This is a steel scale. This is shining, lustrous. See, we learnt two properties of metals. Metals are hard. Metals are lustrous. What do you mean by luster? Shining. Luster. Metals have luster. Metals are lustrous. Gold. Now the ring I have, these two rings are gold rings. They have their own shining. Gold has a beautiful color and shine. That's why we use gold in making jewelry. Silver. Silver is also a metal. Gold is a metal. All metals are hard. Exceptions are there sometimes. In general we speak. You have mercury. Have you seen mercury? Mercury you see it in thermometers. The bulb of the thermometer will have mercury in it. Mercury is poisonous. Mercury too has luster. It shines. That bulb with mercury shines. But mercury is a liquid. Mercury is not a solid. Mercury is a liquid. Mercury is the only metal which is liquid at normal temperature. At normal temperature, what is normal temperature? Temperature of the environment. Where you are, maybe about 25 degrees, 30 degrees Celsius, 25 degrees Celsius. That's all normal. It ranges within that. 37 degrees is Celsius is our body temperature. Mercury is the only metal that is in liquid form at the normal temperature. Mercury is very heavy. Mercury is heavier than iron. 1 cubic centimeter of iron weighs 7.1 grams. 7.1 grams. Remember, mercury, 1 cubic centimeter of mercury weighs 13.6 grams. Weight is almost double of that of iron. Mercury is heavy, a heavy liquid. 1 cc of water weighs only 1 gram. 1 cc of mercury weighs 13.6 grams. That means 13.6 times heavier than water. Okay, we learnt two properties, physical properties of metals. Metals are hard, metals are lustrous, they have luster. Shall we move on to the third now? I'll take this. See, this is made of steel. It's a scale made of steel. How many centimeters does it measure? It measures 60 centimeters. 60 centimeters. From this end to that end. Or 24 inches. It's equal to 2 feet. 12 inches still here, another foot, 2 feet. Now here we are looking at this scale from our point of view of knowing the physical property of the metals. One more physical property. A metal, if you hit it well, it won't break. What has happened here? On being hit, actually this is a wedge. To break a wooden piece, you use the wedge. To break a wall, you use wedge. Masons use it. They keep it and go on hammering. And this wedge will bring about a crack there, and when you beat it further, the wall gives way. See, the metal undergoes some transformation, some change. It's a physical change. It's not a chemical change. Remember, you have learnt in the previous classes, physical changes are temporary. If you take this to a blacksmith, you can get it done as it was earlier. He will put it in fire and he will start beating it. On his anvil, he will keep it and beat it with hammers. And he will bring it back to the shape which had earlier. It has even got sliced in between partly, but it will not give away easily. It's hard. Here, this part, blacksmith wanted to make it into a wedge. What has he done? He has placed it on an anvil and he has hammered it when it was hot. Visit a blacksmith and just see. When he wants to make a wedge like this or any other shape he likes to bring iron into, he will put it in fire first. It becomes red hot. Then he will pick it up with the tools he has, place it on the anvil, and he will hold it. One more person will start beating it like this. And stage by stage it becomes sharp here. See, shape can be changed. You can make a block of iron become plate-like. You can convert it into a plate. To make a spade or a shovel, you have to bring iron into a plate-like form. Who brings that shape? The blacksmith does it. The blacksmith gives that shape. Same thing is done here. Iron has been beaten into a plate. We always use that word in English. You beat a metal and bring it into a plate. It has come to the form of the plate. Or here in the knife, this part is made of iron. It's a plastic handle. Here is iron. It's been brought to that shape. Then here they have made it sharp, pointed everywhere. Number of pointed structures are there. Like the teeth of a crocodile. So cutting it is easy. You can cut something with the help of this. Here too, all metals are ductile. They can be drawn into wires. You can bring them into wires. They are malleable. They can be beaten into plates. Two aspects, remember well. All metals can be beaten into plates. malleable. The phenomenon is called as malleability. You can bring all metals into a flat plate-like shape. You call it as malleability. You can draw metals into thin wires. You can make them into ducts. To remember, ducts. Duct is a thin long wire-like. Here, aluminium has been brought into this form. You can bring it into thick or thin wires. Electric wires are made of aluminium. Electric wires are made of copper wires. Now to make this vessel, what should you do first? They beat it into a plate, then they bring it into that cylindrical shape, then fix the bottom, and here too they bend it and they bring it into this shape. The color itself tells you that it is a copper vessel. So this is malleability. This tells us about the malleable character of metals. This tells us the ductile character of the metals. Silver wires can be drawn. Silver can be drawn into wires. Ductile. Jewelry, chains or bangles. If you want to make gold bangle, what should you do? You have to draw it into a wire first. They make it into a wire. Stage by stage they have the process, ongoing process, and thereby they get the gold bangle made. So after we learnt about the first two characteristics, physical characteristics, metals are hard, metals are lustrous, we learned two more. These go hand in hand. One is malleable property. You can beat metals into plates. Iron can be beaten into plate. Aluminium can be beaten into plate. Copper can be beaten into plate. Gold can be beaten into plate. Brass, bronze, all these can be beaten into plates. Drawing them into wires, as here. What do you call it? Ductility. Getting them made into ducts. Ductile property. Ductility. Silver can be drawn into a wire. Copper can be drawn into a wire. Iron can be drawn into a wire. Gold can be drawn into a wire. So that is ductility. We learnt 4 key properties. This is a beautiful example. Aluminium has been pressed into very thin plate, very thin plate. Okay, let us come to the 5th property now. 5th property. I have coins here. I have a 1 rupee coin and 1 5 rupees coin. 1 5 rupees coin and 1 rupee coin. Now, let me drop this coin onto this plate. You see? The other coin. Let me drop this coin. See? Now, let me drop these coins here. See, some nice sound we get. See again. No? I have the bell here, which is used for puja. It is made up of metal. Now if I ring it, we get beautiful sound. Beautiful sound. Temple bells are also like that. Over a kilometer you can hear the bell. This too, it gives beautiful sound. We say in English, sonorous sound. Sonar means pertaining to sound. Sonar. Sonorous. We enjoy the sound. We enjoy it. It is not noise. The sound you get when a metal hits is not a noise. Noise you don't like to hear. But this sound, it gives you some kind of pleasure as you hear. Sonorous. Let's try in this copper vessel. Each metal gives a different sound. That depends on the thickness and the quantum and how do you drop. Even as you drop, you should not be holding like this. Then vibration won't be there. You see now. See, sound is different. If I just hold like this and drop, sound is different again. Here, that's why when you use the gong and hit it, a wooden gong, and try to hit it, see here how the sound comes. This is a wooden gong. Something you use to hit, it becomes a gong. See the sound? The sound is different here. Why? Minimum friction is there between my hand and the plate. Friction is minimum. I am just holding in with the help of 2 fingers. If you take a thread or a rope, make a hole here and tie it and hold it by that thread, the sound will be much more pleasurable. You enjoy it, really enjoy it. If I hold the plate like this and hit, you see now. Do we enjoy? We don't. Why? What happened? I am using the same gong, wooden gong. No, not at all. Why? Here I am holding it close to my chest. On the other side, all the 5 fingers are holding it well. The object cannot vibrate. To get beautiful sound, the metal should be allowed to vibrate. See here the difference. We enjoy it. So, all metals are sonorous. You understood? Sonorous. All metals are sonorous. See here. It's a small vessel. Here, let's see here. Aluminium. Here, even little barrier for sound gives you a different sound. It's all right. See, this metal on metal. All these experiments you should do. You should try one by one. That's how we learn science. Science can't be learned just by reading a book. You should do all the experiments. What kind of sound do you get? How do you get? Now here I have carbon. See, this is carbon. If I hammer it now, if I keep it on a hard object and hammer it, what will happen to it? Carbon will get powdered. You call it as charcoal. Wood, after you burn wood, partially you burn it. Put out the fire. If there are wooden pieces in the fire, they would have become charcoal now. Charcoal. You get black powder. In olden days, people used to brush with the help of the charcoal powder. take a little bit of charcoal powder and rub it against their teeth. Even now in some villages people do use charcoal powder. See, charcoal is carbon. I'll show you another carbon, carbon in different form. Here I have, this is coal. This is coal, this is very hard. If I press this, this will turn into powder now. I can break it into two. See? See? It gets powdered. And the black powder of charcoal, it's getting stuck to my hands too. But this is coal. This too makes my hand dirty. But this is very hard. I cannot break it. This is called as coal. Kalliddalu. Idu iddalu. Idu kalliddalu. If you burn coal, it gives more heat than charcoal. This gives lot of heat. So even to make the trains run, they use coal. We can burn coal. With the help of that, we boil water, get steam, make turbines turn, and we can get electricity generated. So even the generation of electricity, coal is used. In our country, in areas surrounding Bihar and West Bengal, Orissa, we have a lot of coal deposits. But we can't be luxurious in using coal for the reason coal pollutes our atmosphere. Coal pollutes the atmosphere. All right. So this cannot be, if you beat it, this too will get powdered. You can't beat coal into a plate, however hard you try. This too, you can't hammer it. This will turn into carbon powder then. Carbon powder. Now, this is a non-metal. Coal is a non-metal. Carbon is a non-metal. I have sulfur here. Sulfur. You get big pieces, but here it has been powdered. It's crystalline, it looks like crystals. This is called sulfur. Gandhaka, not Gandha, Gandha is sandal. Gandhaka, sulfur. You cannot draw sulfur into a plate. You cannot pull sulfur or draw it into wires as in the case of aluminium. So sulfur is a non-metal. Sulfur is a non-metal. It is not a metal. It is not very hard. It doesn't have that shining that metals have. It is not ductile. It is not malleable. So this is a non-metal. What do you mean by non-metal? It is not a metal. The word is non-metal. When I say non-metal, you mean not a metal. So we are dividing all substances into metals and non-metals. All elements can be divided into metals and non-metals. Gases, oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen, they are all non-metals. You cannot draw oxygen into a wire or you cannot beat it into a plate. I have aluminium here. Aluminium which has been turned into small pieces. When aluminium is in small pieces, you call it as aluminium turnings. You see. for experimental purpose, for conducting various experiments, aluminum has been broken into smaller pieces. We call it as aluminum turnings. In the same way, you get copper turnings. Copper broken into smaller pieces, copper turnings. We need to conduct experiments. So these are aluminum turnings. Aluminum turnings. So aluminum is a metal. We have already seen that. But sulfur is not a metal. It is not ductile, it is not malleable. So it is a non-metal. Now, we have studied 5 properties. Let us come to the 6th property now, 6th and 7th. You have seen electric wires. Which of the metals are used for conducting electricity? Electricity is conducted through copper wires. High tension wires coming from hydroelectric stations to the villages, cities and towns which are far away. How is it transported? Electricity is transported with the help of copper wires, thick copper wires, 11,000 volts, 22,000 volts. When voltage is very high, electricity has to be moved through copper wires. But inside your house, usually we use aluminum wires because the voltage is low voltage. Aluminum can withstand. There the aluminum can melt, it may melt when high voltage electricity passes through. So copper has to be used. Copper is costly, aluminum is cheap. Copper vessels are costly. Aluminum vessels like this, they are cheap. Poor people, they use aluminum vessels. Then silver. Silver is also a very good conductor of electricity. How can you try all these? Have a battery cell, connect the wires, because in 6th standard itself you have done these experiments. 7th. So, if you have done all right, otherwise you do it now. Take a battery cell, connect the 2 terminals, the anode and the cathode, to a small battery bulb, and see, the bulb glows. Now what do? Break the circuit, introduce a small aluminum piece there in between and see whether electricity flows or not. Aluminum allows electricity to pass through. Now you introduce a small copper wire, piece of copper wire, you have to collect. If you don't get a piece of copper wire, if you have a copper vessel, you can use it. Here you connect one end of the wire, take the other end from here, and now pass electricity through that and try. Silver, when it comes to silver, any silver bangle or a silver chain, you can just use and try. A spoon, iron spoon, steel is iron. You use a steel spoon in between and see whether the bulb glows or not. All metals are good conductors of electricity. All metals are good conductors of electricity. But non-metals are poor conductors of electricity. If you use coal and try, coal will not allow electricity to pass through it. It's a non-conductor. It's a non-conductor. Nail, iron nail, it will permit electricity to pass through. This tin foil or the aluminum foil, it will allow, you can cut a small thin strip and use it, put it in that circuit and try. So you can find out whether the metal permits electricity to pass through or not. But don't connect under any circumstance to the main electric lines of the house. Whatever experiment you do here, you should do it with a battery cell and wires and a battery bulb. Never try to plug in and do these experiments. They are deadly. They are deadly. It will have a high voltage of electricity. So don't do that. You do only with the help of whatever material is available. Use a bulb, connect to the battery cell and see whether electricity passes through or not. All metals are good conductors of electricity. Even there some variation is there. Some may be very good conductors, some may not be that good in conducting electricity, but still they conduct electricity. If you take a glass and connect the wires, glass won't conduct electricity. It's a poor conductor of electricity. You try. Use a plastic plate or a small plastic piece. See, plastic won't conduct electricity. That's why aluminum wires are covered by plastic. Plastic is a poor conductor. It is an insulator. It insulates the wire, insulates the electricity that's flowing through the wire and doesn't allow it to come out. Plastic. Your cloth, try with your cloth. Cloth doesn't allow electricity to pass through it. Plastic doesn't allow. Do all these experiments. Find out which are the substances that allow, which are the substances that do not allow. Make a list. So that's the sixth quality. Seventh quality. See, take a spoon, keep it in hot teacup, hot tea. You wanted to put a spoonful of sugar into it, you keep it there. After half a minute you see how hot the spoon is, it will be very hot, very hot. But a knife like this, it has a wooden handle. Even if I hold this knife in fire for a long time or keep it in any hot material like this portion will not become hot. That's the reason why most of the spoons you use for cooking will have either a plastic handle or a wooden handle. A wooden handle. Wood and plastic do not allow heat to get conducted through them easily. Wood too will become hot, but not to that extent that you can't hold it at all. You feel the heat, but it will not be too hot. In the same way, wood and plastic. Here it is plastic in this case. Here it is wood. Even when you have a tester to test electricity, you keep a tester. It will have a plastic handle. Have you seen? It won't be a metal handle. It will be a plastic handle. In case that had been a metal handle, what would have happened? The moment you put inside the plug to test whether electricity is flowing or not, you would have got a mighty shock. Dreadful shock. Even death can result. So, there either the handle has to be plastic or wood. So, in all tools that you use in the kitchen, wherever heat is involved, either you will have a plastic handle or a wooden handle. Plastic and wood both are non-metals, But this is metal, this is metal. Even the cooker what you have, the cooker, the handle of the cooker is made of bakelite or plastic, which doesn't conduct electricity or heat through it. There we are not concerned about electricity, heat. The cooker is very, very hot because temperature would have gone beyond 100 degrees Celsius. Steam that gets collected inside the cooker at 100 degrees Celsius, the temperature will go on increasing there afterwards. It will reach 150, 200 degrees Celsius. Under that pressure and temperature, food gets cooked very well. Food gets cooked very well. Now to lower the pressure cooker, you need a bakelite handle or a plastic handle or a wooden handle. If you don't have any of these, a hot vessel you can keep it down using cloth. You use some cloth or a towel. You use and you pick it up and keep it down because cloth is a poor conductor of heat, poor conductor of electricity. So metals are all very good conductors of heat. If I have this spoon and I have hot boiling water here, I cannot keep it here for more than half a minute holding here. The spoon will become hot. So all metals are very good conductors of heat. They are all very good conductors of electricity. So we have learned 7 properties of metals. 7 different properties of metals. Go through your textbook, learn these 7 properties, analyze them, discuss, try to understand, and in the next video we will take up the chemical properties. You already know what are chemical properties. We will discuss about chemical properties of metals and non-metals in our next video. Thank you.